Hey guys, how's it going? So I recently got picked to be part of the Dissidia Final Fantasy NT closed beta test. I forgot what the title of the game was then. And I'd recently, when I was a bit younger, when the Dissidia Duodecim came out, that was when I got I picked up a PSP, and I picked up that game and a few others. I think it was it Jak and Daxter game, Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, and all that. But what I played the most was that, along with Final Fantasy 4. I finished Final Fantasy 4, but I spent so much time playing Duodecim. I ended up putting like 200 hours into it. I was a huge fan of Dissidia Duodecim Final Fantasy. So when this game got announced, I'd actually played the arcade version when I visited Japan last year. Played it like once or twice. I think I played as Cloud, and I didn't have a clue what was going on. Not because I can understand a little bit of Japanese, but it was just the gameplay. I didn't have a clue what was going on. So when I first started this beta, I also didn't have a clue what was going on because it had been so long since I'd played Duodecim. So if you don't know what Dissidia Final Fantasy is, it is a mashup of all the different Final Fantasy characters brought in together, and it's a fighting game / RPG. It's in a 3D arena, and this game in particular is 3-on-3. It used to be 1-on-1, and you get to target each Final Fantasy character that you want, and you can bash them. And the way that you play this game is you have to hit your opponent to earn bravery. If you break them, you'll earn a lot of bravery. If you take their bravery down to the bottom. If you get hit, you lose bravery, and eventually you can use, when you press square, you use a HP attack, and it will attack any character you're targeting. They can dodge it, but if you get your attack in, then you'll deal damage to their HP. And what it ends up being is like a sort of game of thumb war, where you'll when you start the game, you'll be targeting one person. You can switch targets, but you can press R1 to dash towards them, and then when you're like locked on, you can dodge. You're using L1 to dodge, or you can use R1 to dash away. You can press the X button to do bravery attacks, and or the L1 button to dodge. So what you'll end up doing at first is pressing the X button to get your bravery attack in. Either they'll dodge it, or you might get a hit in, and eventually you'll build up and you can use a HP attack. So what you'll find yourself doing most is just smashing the X button and then pressing L1 to dodge. A lot of the time you might not get the person, you might just keep mashing it and never hitting them. They'll keep dodging, they'll keep hitting you. That happens quite a lot if you're not that good at this game, and a lot of people playing online since this beta test. There is a offline mode, but you'll be playing against the easiest AI, and it's just pointless. So when you jump online, you also get your ass handed to you. So that's the basics of the game. Presentation wise, I just want to say this game looks brilliant. It looks pretty much not as good, but it's close to being as good as Final Fantasy 15's graphics, and you get all these old Final Fantasy characters that they brought into HD, some of them for the first time maybe. I mean, you had them in World of Final Fantasy, but all of them were chibi looking. So you get loads of old characters like Warrior of Light, Furion, Onion Knight, all the old ones, and even the new ones. You get the newest one they've introduced is Yustola from 14. She wasn't in Duodecim. Noctis isn't in this yet. Maybe he'll be in the full game, who knows, he might come into it. He's not in the arcade one yet. But the characters, this game has the 14 characters, the main characters from 1 to 14, and the characters from 11 and 14, the MMOs, they're not the main characters, but they're part of the story. And they're used to represent those games, I suppose. In Duodecim, you had the 13 main characters, and you had up to 10 the main villains, along with a few extra characters like Prish from 11, Gabranth from 12, Gilgamesh. And so this game, there's the arcade version also has Ramza and Ace and a few villains in from the old game. So they'll probably keep boosting the roster for this game as the main game comes out. And we also have one stage per Final Fantasy game, and they look excellent on the PS4. The graphics are great, and the stages look really good. I mean, you'll see old stages from like Final Fantasy 3 or Final Fantasy 5, like the interdimensional rift from Final Fantasy 5 looks excellent on its PS4 version. So the presentation, top notch. You also get some music from each of the Final Fantasy games rearranged, and they sound really good too. But obviously the main point of this beta is for the gameplay. Now, it seems more of a stress test, because the game's been out for at least over a year in the arcades in Japan, so they probably would have ironed out a lot of the problems that it originally had, all the balancing issues and anything of that. If you don't know, arcade games, especially in Japan, they can get updated. They're online. We don't really have that in the United Kingdom or anything like that, but there's loads of stuff like that in Japan. And yeah, so all the balancing and any bugs or anything would have been ironed out already. This was mainly for stress test. There is lag in this version, but I'm not going to talk about that too much because it won't really represent the final product. So then we come to the gameplay. Now I've spoken about the basics of the gameplay, but the way the controls are, the controls are simple. It's almost like Smash Brothers in a way, where each direction that you hold on the control stick, and when you press X, it'll do a different bravery move, depending on if you're on the ground or in the air. Each character's really only got 6 bravery moves. Some might have a few more, depending on if they can do job changes or something like that. But that's some advanced tactics. The basics are pretty much set. Each character also has 1 HP attack, which I'm pretty sure in Duodecim you can have at least 2, if not more. It has been a while since I played it. I think you could have 4 actually. So there was a lot more HP attacks in that game. In this one you can change your set, so they'll give you a different HP attack and different EX moves. But you can only use 1 HP attack at a time. The EX moves are moves you can use with the triangle button, and there's stuff like there's poison, there's bravery, regen and stuff like that, and it's on a cooldown, so it's just like buffs or debuffs. But then each character also has an exclusive triangle move, which the game doesn't do a good job of explaining. It won't tell you, like it'll tell you what the other ones do, poison gut or the bravery regen. It'll tell you what they do in the menu, but it won't tell you what the exclusive triangle move does, which each character has, which is annoying because some of them are obvious, like Cecil's is change to Dark Knight, change to Paladin, easy. A few others, some of them attack, like I think Cloud's attacks, I think Tidus's just doesn't attack. But then there's stuff like your Stola can use, is it ethereal trance or something? But it doesn't tell you what it does. It just makes a big burst, a big animation, and you can't say what it does. But some other characters have like Terra and Zidane can use their trance moves from their respective games. But I wish it at least explained what they did. The same can be said about summons. So the game also has summons that you can vote on which summon your team has, and then as you fight, as you break, you can aim for a core. The summon gauge will fill, and you can use your summon. It doesn't do a good job explaining what they do really. It gives you 10 seconds to read the description as you're going into a game, and then you go into the game, and then I don't know, chaos just ensues if you end up using a summon. So there's a few kind of early problems that I have with the gameplay, and the biggest change to Dissidia NT is obviously the 3-on-3 rather than 1-on-1. So the way the 3-on-3 works, you'll all get one guy you're facing at first, but you can change target whenever you want. So all 3 people can choose, let's just gang up on that guy. And then if you get ganged up on, there's nothing you can really do, because if you get hit once, the other person can then jump in and attack you after that. And then you can also get, the arenas have like invisible walls, and then there's also some actual physical walls. When you bump into one of those, the player can just come in and use a second combo and just keep attacking you. You're kind of staggered for a bit too long, I think. You can't really break out of it at all, and you're just going to get mashed on. Eventually you're going to get broken, and then they can use a HP attack on you. It's a bit, I don't know, it's sort of skill based, because you have to see where your positioning is, make sure you're not backed up against the wall when you try to attack someone, or just make sure your attacks get in and you don't actually get hit against the wall. But it feels really bad when you're just smashed into a wall and you can't get out of it. You're mashing circle, mashing L1, you can't get off the wall until they attack you, and then eventually you're broken, because you get broken really quickly. Speaking of quickly, the games are over so quickly in this game, because the way it works is you have 3 bars. Whenever someone gets killed and then revived, they take up one of them bars. So the team shares 3 lives. If there's one person who keeps dying all 3 times, which I did quite a bit, then that's it. The game's over. The team loses. And even a victory, the victories don't feel that great in this game, because when you might be doing terribly, or you might be doing okay but just not getting any kills. If someone else just goes ahead and gets all 3 kills, it just comes up victory. It doesn't feel very satisfying. Just like, oh, we won, yay, okay. Whereas in like just Duodecim, whatever, you are smashing your opponent. You know when you've won because you've beaten them down, you've taken their HP all the way out, or you know when you've lost because they've smashed you. But in this game, it's just like, oh, it just sort of happens. Whoopee. The game also feels kind of punishing whether you like playing as other players, especially because it's online only. That probably won't be the case in the full game, because you'll be able to practice against the AI quite a bit more. But in this one, I always like to do random players, because when I play fighting games, I like to test out. I like to test the waters. For example, in Smash Brothers, since the controls are all similar, I could just jump in and just see what their moves do and then go. In this game, yeah, the controls are the same for each player, but the play styles are incredibly different. So there's no telling what you'll be doing. whenever you use any moves. Like sometimes you'll hold back and press X and the character will do a range move. Sometimes for Y'shtola, for example, that's the button to do a close quarters move. So every time you test out a new character, you're going to get your ass handed to you every single time. At least that's what happened to me, unless you're lucky and you get a good team. So the only character that, because I was pretty much doing random the whole time I was playing, I ended up getting Y'shtola a lot just because it kept picking her, and that's okay. I'm a huge Final Fantasy XIV fan, so I didn't mind that, and I also found her to be quite good. So I eventually started getting good as Y'shtola, and so that ended up being pretty much the only matches I ended up winning when I was playing as Y'shtola. I didn't really win many others as anyone else because I just kept feeding when I was trying to work out the controls and how the players handled. So eventually I did get good as Y'shtola and I was winning a few matches. I actually took some matches where I got all 3 KOs, so that was quite fun. She's actually quite fun to play as well, where she has like a sort of ranged game, and as soon as they get close you can use Blizzard to knock them back, and then her HP attack Holy is really great. If you just want to spam Holy like you do in Final Fantasy XIV, then you'll end up catching someone eventually and doing some HP damage. So I can say that I was enjoying my time with Dissidia NT. There are some problems, but it's probably just a case of getting good and picking the characters that you can play as. The 3-on-3 aspect, once more people get their hands on it and they get to find out the nuances of the gameplay, eventually teaming up on weaker players probably won't become so much of an issue, because I suppose if everyone's teaming up on them, then you're kind of leaving yourself open to attacks anyway, so there's loads of strategy involved, no matter how simple the controls are, which do actually, even though they are simple, they take a while to get used to. But each character pretty much controls the same, so once you're used to the universal controls, you'll be okay with each character. But it's definitely, there's an advantage to picking your favourite character, which I'm not that huge on. But when I get the game, I'll be playing a lot more of the single player anyway, because it is going to have a story mode, and then I guess I'll get used to the characters in that way, because it forces you, at least in the PSP ones, it forces you to stick with a character for a long time. So when I do finally take them online, I'll either have found my favourite characters by then, or I'll have gotten used to each character. So at least the way the game ranks you, you start off in bronze, and then the more you win, it'll put you against higher players. So at least at that point I'll be used to some of the characters, and maybe I can take on some harder players. Who knows? But for now, the game's pretty good. Any gripes with it that I have are just because of how hard it is to actually get strategy. It's not great for newcomers, which everyone is in this game, unless you're Japanese and you've played the arcade game. Everyone's a newcomer, and it feels a lot different to the PSP games. And but yeah, it's fun. I can't wait to get this game and play it as story mode. Anyway, that's some of my quick first impressions for Dissidia Final Fantasy NT, which is coming out on PS4 in January, I want to say. It's got a kick-ass collector's edition. I'll probably get that as well. And let me say some other characters I liked. I liked Warrior of Light. I liked Y'shtola. Shantoto was okay. They've changed Shantoto's voice, her English voice, so that might take a bit of a while getting used to. But yeah, anyway, that's Dissidia Final Fantasy NT. Thanks guys for watching, and as always, have fun playing video games.
It was an immeasurable honor to fight alongside you.